Welcome to the Liberated Feminine Podcast. I'm Lucy Lampy, your host, and in this episode, I want to just touch on seduction versus manipulation, a gift of the dark feminine. Now, seduction gets a bad rap, okay? Just like longing gets confused for desperation, but I'll save that for a different episode. Now, seduction is one of these vastly misunderstood gifts of the dark feminine. Now, if you have been diving into the divine feminine, the different aspects, the different flavors, the different textures, oh, it is so yummy. And when you get into those darker textures, a lot of times the way that it is taught and presented is from the perspective of control and manipulation. And on the one hand, when this is done in an environment that is consensual, for example, in a kink environment, oh my God, it's so fucking amazing to get to just fully embody this, like, look, I'm controlling you. I have power over you. Playing with those power dynamics. And this can be extremely healing, as we will explore in future episodes. For those who did experience, a loss of power and autonomy in their lives. For those who experienced any kind of violation or abuse or assault, it is extremely empowering, or it can be within the right parameters for that healing, an intentional conscious kink. However, that is also outside of the scope of this conversation. I just want to sprinkle that in there because if that speaks to you, maybe follow that rabbit trail somewhere else. Actually, if that speaks to you, if the concept of conscious kink and healing within that container speaks to you, I would recommend checking out my friend Kimmy Inch's work. And I'm actually having her on the podcast in this spring. So be on the lookout for that episode. But when it comes to seduction, there are some shadows around seduction as well, not just a logical or intellectual misunderstanding. And one of those shadows is that there is a part of us, it's in our human nature, to want to be seduced, not manipulated, but seduced. We want to be innately, we crave to be seduced by life, seduced by the universe, by God, by however you want to define this force of infinite love. And actually, that's what's constantly happening. Our souls are constantly being seduced into what they came here to do. Or at least that's how I see it. That's how I've come to see it. And that was a huge aha moment for me of like, oh, I love being seduced by life. I love it. And here's the distinction here, feeling into these distinct differences between seduction and manipulation. All right, one is an invitation, the other is a control tactic. One appeals to a shared vision, speaks to your heart, to your soul, to something deeper. And the other appeals to a self-focused agenda on the part of the person doing the manipulation. One has playful undertones, and the other has sinister undertones. So when you feel into these subtleties that are really not so subtle in the energetics, in the experience of it, when you are being seduced or seducing, it is a playful invitation of, hey, do you like this? Do you like what you see? Do you like what you hear? And that can be communicated with a glance, with a posture, with a gesture, without even any words. And so this seduction, this embodiment, this particular embodiment of the dark feminine is really us coming into this aspect of ourselves that fully owns what they really want. Not just on the surface, like here's my impulse or here is an urge or even an instinct, but the deeper desires. And when you allow yourself to be seduced or to seduce from that space and speaking to that space in the other person, it is so fucking hot. And not only is it hot, It actually deepens things like trust, respect, and reverence. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that proper seduction done from the true gift of the dark feminine, from that place of integration instead of a place of fragmentation and shadow, could be such an explosion of aliveness and such a gift to the soul. Now, if you think about this within the microcosm of the bedroom, all right, picture that energy. First, picture yourself embodying this energy of seduction. Your intention within whatever form that is taking is to call forth. Let's say, for example, it's been a long day, and your lover is mentally exhausted, and you're feeling feisty. You're feeling like, I'm feeling fucking in my power. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling all that rich, dark texture, juiciness. And I want to bring this into the space. And so picture that you are communicating with just your eye contact, your facial expressions, and your body language, no words. Embodying this energy of inviting, invoking, calling forth the part of him that can open and melt. The part of him that can feel something deeper alive in him. Imagine what that energy would feel like. First of all, just feel like moving through your body. It has a particular richness to it. That's the best word that I can think of. It has a particular richness to it that let's say, by contrast, this like light, playful, more light energy, light feminine energy, that's flirtatious, but not necessarily seductive, because your seduction is basically you're tapping into your charm, you're tapping into your magnetism. You're not tapping into manipulation tactics. And I am personally so over seeing the dark feminine portrayed as do this to get him to be obsessed with you, do this to make him never stop thinking about you, do this to control his mind. Basically, it's like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? What are we devoted to? What is our deeper commitment here? Because, of course, if your deeper commitment is to be in service to your own ego, which, again, there can be a place and a time for that, and it can be consensual. It can be something that we are aware of and conscious of, and we do fully enjoy that. But when it's not done in that way, and it's coming from this wounded place or an insecure place, and we're not aware of what's actually happening, then that is where trust is actually disintegrated. That is where integrity disintegrates, where the core of who you are, it just doesn't feel really good. You might feel a temporary power surge, but when you are tapped in to, okay, this is my lover's heart, and this is my heart, and I am exposing this part, but in this particular way that's like, like a come hither. Come hither. It's never a demand. It's a delicious invitation. And along with that, the irony of, really exploring what seduction really is, and this mastery of seduction, the art of seduction. The irony is that there has to be a level of non-attachment to the outcome. Because if you are going in, let's say, with the agenda of I'm going to be seductive, and then my partner is going to give me everything that I want. Like, oh, I love the confidence, girl. I fucking love it. Love it. Own that confidence. And also knowing that when you go in with an agenda, you are setting yourself up for disappointment and for the energy to just be kind of off from the start, because people can feel when something is not quite right, even if you wouldn't consider them to be super conscious or aware of energy and et cetera, But when there is that undertone of I'm doing this in order for you to give me that, especially when there have been certain patterns and things established in a relationship where that is the case, then the other person, it's just natural for them to actually contract in their energy and not really open themselves to being seduced. So then at that point, it just feels like a performance it's like a circus performance, and that doesn't feel good either on either side. So as we feel into these distinctions between seduction and manipulation, the main thing that I want to emphasize in this episode is going to be a brief one. I want to leave you with this. If you're really, really, really fucking honest with yourself on a soul, heart, core of who you are level, what is it that you crave to be seduced into? Maybe, perhaps, let's just say very tangibly, sexually, you want to be seduced into completely just opening yourself so you can be ravished by your lover. To be seduced to such a puddle of softness that you're just like, I would do anything. Like, I will do anything with you right now. Girl, that's me. That is me. I love being seduced to that place. I love it so much because there is a foundation of reverence and trust and respect. And I know that the intention on his behalf is not to disrespect me or use me for just a whim. He knows my heart. I let him see it, and vice versa. And so as you lean into that question, what you want to be seduced into, think what comes to mind first. Maybe reflect on that. Maybe it is a sexual context, and that is a great example of things on the macrocosm. So how does that reflect? Second question, how does that reflect what you want to be seduced by life into? What do you want to be seduced into by life, by the universe, by God, by love? I think back on this whole past year of my life and how seductive it has been. And that wasn't always in a sexual way, mind you. I'm talking about being seduced by life. Like, hey, I'm speaking to this part of your heart, to this tender, deep, deep, deep part of you that, don't you want this? Oh, don't you like how that aliveness feels in your body? How that just like trickles into your heart. I know you like it. Do you want more? Okay, here's what you do. And I'm telling you, it's like life seduced me step by step. And that is what honestly gave me the, the courage, helped me to clarify the vision of why I was taking such massive leaps in my life. And it felt different. It felt very seductive. You know how sometimes when you take leaps, you take a leap of faith in your life and it feels like skydiving, right? And that's not very seductive. It's a thrill. It's exciting. You feel so alive. But when it's a seductive thing, it's like, I could feel the essence of the dark goddess herself. Just like, come on, you were made for this. Oh, it's going to be so good. You have no idea. And that's just such a different perspective from which to experience life. And then you take that and you apply it to how you embody that dark goddess, how you embody those subtle, rich textures in your day-to-day, how you allow yourself to also be seduced, not just how you are seducing. And it is this beautiful dance. It is this yummy, I gotta find some more words to properly describe this, because it is an essence. It's not just a description. It's when you start tapping into it, like this dark, beautiful, iridescent serpent kind of energy. And it's not there to hurt you. It's there to reveal things to you. It's there to guide you and show you what's possible. It's there to demonstrate how to shed with more ease. And that right there is truly one of the most powerful gifts of the dark feminine. And embodying that, it just feels it gives this feeling, this experience in your body and in just your way of being that no amount of overpowering others or manipulation tactics can ever give you, because it comes from this place of just such pure, brilliant, radiant love. It just takes this form of this rich, beautiful darkness. So, on that note, I would love to hear your thoughts on maybe any subtle shifts that you're feeling in your body right now in exploring, these differences between seduction and manipulation, and how you can use seduction to embody more love and to draw out more love in the life that you live. So feel free to leave a comment here on the podcast, depending on which platform you're listening. Like, for example, on Spotify, you can comment right there on the episode, or email me at support@thewildawakening.com. In the meantime, thanks for joining me for this episode, and here's to liberating your wild feminine heart.
Bring the bass, give me a taste, lay me to waste. I'm your little plaything.